Afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all having a great day. Now, before I begin today's lesson, let me first start by saying a massive well done to all of the children who produced such brilliant plans yesterday for a new children's educational toy. I saw so many examples that were so original and creative and drew on your knowledge of what children aged 4 and 5, or perhaps even younger than that, learned about, and you produced excellent work. Some of them looked like they'd been created and designed by experts in this field, and your toys would not look out of place in a supermarket, on a supermarket shelf, or indeed in a store for children who are looking to buy, or in a store, an educational store where parents often go to buy educational toys. I'm really excited to begin our writing today, but first I want to share some examples of great plans with you, because if you feel like you might need to tweak yours and edit yours and make it even better, which I'm sure many of you might after seeing these, then now is your chance. A great plan will mean an even better advert. And we need our plan to be clear so that we're absolutely confident about what we're writing. I'm going to share some examples with you now, and hopefully you'll be able to take some inspiration from those. Okay, so first of all, you can see a list of features. Now, I've written the heading Great Feature Alert, and these were some of the best features that I read in your individual plans. Lots of them have catchy titles, and every single one of them is appropriate for children aged between 4 to 5, or I think I said yesterday, 3 to 4. So, if you don't have a feature like this, and you want one, please edit your plans today. If you are realising, whilst we're going through this lesson, that your features aren't that relevant to children or won't help them with their learning, then please take inspiration from these ideas. Remember, a feature is something your toy can do. A feature isn't something like the toy is fluffy. That's not a feature that will help them with their learning, or it's easy to hold. A feature is something they can do. So let's have a look at these examples. Super sing-along mode. I love that. The feature is going to teach them lots of different songs. And we know that music is a subject that children learn about too. Terrific talking mode. And I know with this feature, the child would learn to talk. It's really important that your feature heading makes it clear what the feature allows the child to learn about. A good feature, I should know from reading the features what it will teach your child or the children you're appealing to. Super shape mode, great, that will teach children shapes. Lots of features connected to the alphabet, which I'm not surprised about because young children really do need to learn their letters as soon as they can. So I saw amazing alphabet mode or awesome alphabet mode, and either of those are absolutely great. I love this example here, nursery rhyme time. Of course, time isn't spelled like that, but it's a bit of a play on words to mirror the spelling that we see in rhyme. That's another brilliant example. I also saw nifty nursery rhymes, which is quite cool too. Brilliant body parts, which of course teaches children about the body. Number mode, or even better, I think, I can't remember who called it this, but the feature was called 1, 2, 3, count with me, or somebody else said 1, 2, 3, sing along with me feature or mode, which was brilliant and actually even better, I think, than number mode. Rainbow fun, that was another cool way of introducing the colour feature. Crazy colour mode, and I love this one, a fun on the farm feature, suggesting that your toy would teach children about animals, which of course is something young children do also have to learn about. They have to learn about their letter sounds, but they also quickly do learn the sounds that animals make. So really great job, all of the children who came up with these examples. Now let's look at some more specific examples. And some children have even taken the opportunity to draw their design to check that their features work. First up, we have Dia in Sheffield class. Dia, this was a really clear image of Freddie the friendly bear. And as you can see, Freddie has lots of different features clearly labelled. And alongside Freddie, there is a really clear plan outlining every single feature and what the feature does. Awesome alphabet mode, brilliant numbers mode, and what it does. And then Dia has labelled her plan to check that it works. And of course, when you write your advert, you will probably tell the reader how the feature works too. So it's a good thing. It's good to have a think about that now to check that your feature is realistic. So Dia here has said that there will be a push hat. And when you push the hat, I think they will share the colours, or the bear will say share the colours of the rainbow, but I'm sure I'll find out more when I read her advert. I love this one. The bow changes to 7 different colours. So I wonder what this is teaching, or maybe this is just a fun feature because she's already taught colours using this feature. Here's buttons along the arm for the alphabet, and here for saying numbers. And this is just the plan, so it outlines her main ideas, and in her writing she'll go into more detail about how the children will learn their numbers and how children can be challenged if they do know the numbers or they do learn their numbers really quickly. So well done, Dia. Just be careful with the name of feature 1, light up mode. This might be something you might want to change. Light up mode doesn't necessarily tell me what children aged between 3 and 4 are learning about. In fact, I might think from looking at the name of that feature that they're learning about light. And light's something we actually learn about in year 3 and year 6, so they're probably a little bit young for that. So have a think about what that feature's doing, and perhaps you can give it an even better name. Now, next up we have Dia in Chem class. 2 Dias making the headlines today, and another excellent piece of work, Dia, and I really love how you've sketched and labelled your design too. Now, no design would be complete without a written plan to have everything clearly laid out, which has everything clearly laid out on paper. So you can see that Dia has thought about why parents might buy the toy, an enjoyment factor, and preparing for school. And she's thought really carefully about the features. So there's a repeat after me feature, which teaches children simple words, or you could call it wonderful words feature or wonderful words mode. She has an ABC song super sing-along mode. A really catchy title, Dee, and I love how you've used alliteration there too. Fantastic. And underneath, she's really clearly stated what that feature does. On the right paw, there is an easy to use button, which when pressed plays an ABC song for your child to learn and sing along to. And then Dia has 1, 2, 3, come on and sing with me. Again, really catchy, Dia, and fantastic original idea there. On the left paw, so how does this work? On the left paw, once the left paw is pressed, the bear or the teddy will say numbers 0 to 10. And I really love this bit, Dia, because this was something we had talked about in yesterday's lesson. Particularly quick learners or bright sparks, you might say. We'll move on to 10 to 20. Parents are going to really want this product, Dia, because they know once their child has mastered 0 to 10, there's another challenge for them too. And finally, she's created a special offer that's suitable, not anything that a 3 or 4-year-old would not want. Be careful with the discount codes. Often these toys aren't particularly dear. They're probably about £10. So actually, if you offer 10% or 20% discount, the reader will only really save about £1 or £2. £1 if it's 10%, £2 if it's 20%. Therefore, it's perhaps actually better to think of giving away a toy, another toy, or as somebody said yesterday, a snood or a bed cover or something, a gift maybe not a toy, sorry, a gift that is linked to your design. Okay, discounts are better when the product is more expensive, but because it's not that expensive, I would perhaps think about giving away a promotional code for the store or a gift that's connected to the design. Now, next up we have Rebecca, and Rebecca, this is one of the best plans I've ever read. This is thorough, really well considered, and you have so many original ideas. Made me think perhaps you could look into a career in this field as a designer. So you've laid it out really clearly, and this will help your young beginner or your young learner. And I saw actually yesterday, I think it was in Milo's work in Chem class, he'd used the phrase tiny tot, which I also loved as well. Start learning the basics, and it progressively gets harder and harder. Progressively means little by little. She said it's fun and educational, and parents will want their child to be ready for school. So there are all the reasons why your reader might buy it. What's her first feature? Really clearly laid out. That's astonishing alphabet mode. Again, she says what it is and how it works. To get it working, you press on the bottom of her foot, and then she'll go into more detail in her advert. Again, great use of alliteration, Rebecca, in all of your titles. Well done. Feature 2 is captivating colour mode. Captivating means you're gripped. And what I loved about this, Rebecca, was that you keep on referring to the bear's name. So this feature gets your child to learn most of the colours by Coco repeating the basic colours. Rather than saying by it repeating the colours, you actually use the word Coco, which is really powerful. And again, under this feature, you've called it Super Sing Along, and similarly you've said that this feature will allow Coco to sing rhymes suitable for the age group. That makes the toy sound a bit more personal. Instead of saying this feature will allow the toy, if you said this feature will allow Coco to sing rhymes, then the parent might think it will end up being a little bit like a friend or a companion to the child. So it's a bit more personal. And again, don't delay and buy today, really catchy line at the end. And you will receive a Rebecca the Rabbit blanket or a Leon the Lion or a Leo the Lion one. A super original idea too, Rebecca. Really well done. We have Simon here, Simon from Sheffield. Again, Simon, really clear features, letter fun, number craziness and animal frenzy, which teaches your children all about the animals like a lion or a zebra, and it will tell you fun facts too. And here you've said if you buy within 5 weeks, your child will get a special prize. Might even be more persuasive to actually name that special prize so parents know what they're getting. But great job, really clearly laid out, and I know this is going to be a great help for your writing. And then finally we have Bella's plan. You probably cannot see this plan as clearly as me, but it matched up perfectly to her design. And you can see on the penguin's tummy, there's a colour wheel which will help the child to learn colours. I think you've added in a fourth feature here, Bella, a shape feature, where I think they are going to press buttons on the penguin's tummy, but I'll read more about it in the advertisement. There's letters down the arm and numbers down the other arm. So a really cool design, Bella. And I think you were talking about too, making a little slit in their back so that the child could perhaps insert some coins in there, and maybe the penguin would say the coin, or maybe if you insert some shape counters into the back of it, like a money box, the penguin would say the shape out loud. And that's another fun way of allowing your children to learn. Now, before we get started in our independent writing, just 2 even better ifs from me. Pause the video and have a look at these 2 examples. What am I thinking could be even better? So let's have a look at this first example. Well, feature 2 is Bluetooth connectivity. is this a feature that will help my child to learn? No. So this might be something that the bear can do or the toy can do. However, Bluetooth connectivity isn't something that would help a 3 or 4-year-old with their learning. So if you've included a feature like this, please do have a look and revert back to the big list of features that I shared at the beginning of the lesson and tweak yours. Now, I have to say these two children did have lots of other great ideas, but this one just stood out as one that needed to be improved. Let's look at the second example. Until the 1st of February, you shall be entered in a giveaway for a brand new Apple iPhone 12 mini, 64 gigabytes. So what are you waiting for? Available while stocks last. So in this child's plan, they have included the opportunity for the adult to be entered into a draw to win an iPhone 12. Why is that not suitable? Great. First of all, we discussed last week that you wouldn't normally give away a prize that is more expensive than your product. Otherwise, you wouldn't make a lot of money from your product sales. And secondly, parents who are looking for an educational toy for their 3 to 4-year-old would not be interested in getting an iPhone 12 mini for themselves. Or, for their child mainly, and perhaps they won't be interested for themselves either because they might already have one. Remember, they weren't in the supermarket or they weren't looking in the catalogue, reading this promotional advert, trying to find an advert. They were there because they wanted to purchase a toy for their child that would help their child's learning. So it would be better then to ensure that your offer is still connected to the child. So lots of tips to take on board. Do take a moment now to pause the video and edit your plan if you need to. If you're ready to go, then make sure you have your pen and paper out because we're now going to start the beginning of our persuasive advert. Today we are going to begin writing our persuasive advert or our promotional leaflet, and we're going to be focusing on writing effective rhetorical questions. My turn. Effective. Effective means, in this context, rhetorical questions that have real persuasive force, that draw the reader in, grab their attention, and really make them want to keep reading. So please pause the video now and write the date and the what. I see I've written a short date today. I must have forgotten to write the long date, so please do write the long date. Wednesday, the 27th, I've also made a mistake, not ideal. Wednesday, the 27th of January. And write today's what? To write effective rhetorical questions. Welcome back, everybody. You should have now written the long date, not like me, and the what, ready to begin. Now, last week when we were writing about the skip max, we spoke of the importance of including an imperative at the beginning of our promotional leaflet to grab the attention of the audience. Now, we know that in our writing today, your audience is either going to be parents of children or teachers or nursery teachers who perhaps are looking for a toy to help educate the children in their classroom. I've decided that my audience is going to be parents. So I'm going to start by saying, calling all parents, of course you could say attention all parents either, calling all parents who, now I could say who have children aged between 3 and 4, but I think it would be even more persuasive to say, calling all parents who wish to give their children a great start in life. Because, let's face it, not many parents are going to ignore that, are they? Every parent wants to give their child a great start in life, so I'm confident that persuasive opening will grab their attention. Calling all parents who wish to give their, I'm going to stop right there so that you can tell me how their should be spelt, their children. Great, it should be spelled T-H-E-I-R because the children belong to the parents. Their children a great start in life. exclamation mark. Now that I've got their attention, I'm going to try and hook them in by asking some really powerful or really persuasive rhetorical questions. So step number 2 is going to focus on asking rhetorical questions. I know that my rhetorical questions have to be focused on the reason why, or on the reasons that parents would buy this product. Yesterday, I said that I thought parents would buy this product because, well, it's an educational product and they want to give their child a head start in learning. Perhaps they want to get them really confident before they go into the classroom. Maybe they don't think they're learning anything from looking at the screen, and they want them to get even better at maths and English before they start school. So my rhetorical questions are going to be focused around learning. And last week I also spoke about choosing lots of different sentence openers. So before I write my rhetorical questions, I'm going to jot down some of these that you could use. You could start by saying, are you? We're directly addressing the reader by saying the word you. Have you? Have you ever wished perhaps? Would you? Would you love it if? Or I'm also going to put, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be fantastic if your child could count from 0 to 10 before starting school? Wouldn't it is another option. And perhaps do you? Do you ever think, or do you ever wonder what it would be like if your child could count before they started reception? Right, I'm now ready to begin writing my rhetorical questions. So, I'm going to start then with are you? And before I begin with a question to do with learning, I'm going to think about what parents are probably having to deal with at the moment. Perhaps their child isn't that interested in learning, so they're watching a lot of TV. I could say, are your child's or are your little one's eyes always glued to the TV screen? Or I might say something that I think is probably quite relevant for 3 to 4 year olds. Are your little ones becoming bored of playing with their old worn out teddy? So are your little ones becoming bored? Remember, this bored is how you spell it if you're describing the feeling bored. B-O-A-R-D, this one here. B-O-A-R-D is incorrect. That refers to a shopping board. So please be very careful with that spelling. Are your little ones becoming bored of playing with their old worn out teddy? And I'm going to use the words old and worn out to make it sound like the teddy is useless anymore and make the parents think they should start thinking about buying a new toy. Their old worn out teddy. And the reason I've included this as my first question is because my product is a teddy itself. So I'm going to start getting the parents thinking that as well as a learning toy, they would like a learning toy in the design that I have created. Okay, I now need to include a second. Remember last week we talked about groups of 3 being the most persuasive. So the first 2 are quite negative perhaps, and the last one is maybe even more positive perhaps. So, are your little ones becoming bored of playing with their old worn out teddy? Next thing I'm going to say is, I'm going to use do you this time. Do you need some help? Do you need some help to do what? I'm going to say to advance their education. Advance means to move forward. Do you need some help to advance their education? Again, their education belongs to them, so I must use the possessive there. To advance their education. And you could continue that and say, and get them ready for school. And prepare them for school. Them for school. And finally, I want to do a really positive one that links towards the benefits, or links to the benefits of my product, which is it can help your child have fun and also learn lots at the same time. So I'm going to use this example, this sentence starter, and I'm going to say, wouldn't it be, I could use good, but I think great would be even more persuasive. Wouldn't it be fantastic? Actually better, even better, I think. Wouldn't it be fantastic if they, what does my product do? Well, two of the main features is to teach the child to count and to learn the alphabet. So I'm going to say, wouldn't it be fantastic if they knew all of their, tell me the spelling of their letters, your turn. Yes, T-H-E-I-R, knew all of their letters and numbers before going to school. Question mark again. I've really tried hard to remember all 3 question marks at the end of my rhetorical questions. So let's read back and see how effective my advert is before I come on to the final step. We began with an imperative, calling all parents who wish to give their children a great start in life. Are your little ones becoming bored of playing with their old worn-out teddy? Do you need some help to advance their education and prepare them for school? Wouldn't it be fantastic if they knew all of their letters and numbers before going to school? Great, I think so far I've written 3 really persuasive examples, but there is something that's standing out to me as a sentence that will require an edit, and it's this one. Have a think. Why have I identified the end of that sentence as one that needs edited? That's right, it's because in the sentence previously I've also mentioned school, so my writing is in danger of becoming too repetitive. Therefore, I'm going to take away that idea and find another way of phrasing it. Let me read through again to see what else would fit the sentence without changing the meaning. Do you need some help to advance their education and prepare them for school? Wouldn't it be fantastic if they knew all of their letters and numbers? I'm going to say before stepping foot into the classroom. Stepping foot. Or you could say before they begin learning in reception. Before stepping foot into the classroom. And not forgetting my question mark at the end there. Great, and your final step then is to add direct address to the reader. So you'll remember that last week, in fact, I'm going to put this one on a new page. You'll remember that last week we began with phrases that said, if this sounds familiar, or if this rings a bell, or if this sounds like you, then look no further. You're in the right place. So we're going to write something similar this time round. And I'm going to start by saying, remember, it's really informal, so I can start with well. I could say, well, look no further. Well, look no further. Dash, or I could use a semicolon there, but I can't use a comma because look no further is a command and it makes sense on its own. Or I might say this instead. Well, if this sounds like you, if this sounds like you could say, if this sounds like you is a subordinating clause, so you can put a comma after that, you could say you're in the right place. But I actually want to take the opportunity here to name the product and tell them I've got a great product that they'll be dying to snap up if this sounds like them. Now, I'll probably name it in the next paragraph, but for now I'm just going to say, well, if this sounds like you, we have You can say we as if you're talking from the company. We cannot say I have though. So be really careful that you don't say I have unless you have a personal toy to give them. We have implies that you're talking as the voice of the company. Well, if this sounds like you, we have a new interactive product. A new interactive product sounds more impressive than a toy. A new interactive product. Miss Love is trying really hard to concentrate here because in the background, Miss Webster is recording your PE lesson and it sounds very fun and active. And she's dancing to Higher Love and it's very upbeat, so hopefully you can't hear it in the background. Well, if this sounds like you, we have a new interactive product that you'll, again, I'm directly addressing the reader. You'll is short for you will. I'm not going to say that you might like, I'm going to tell them they'll like it. That you be keen to get your hands on, or that you'll be, in fact, I could even say that you'll be dying to get your hands on because it's really informal. And the use of the word there, again, is another example of direct address to the reader. Exclamation mark. Okay, I'm going to read back the advert now and check that it's come across as sufficiently persuasive. Have I done enough to draw the readers in, the audience in? In my case, it's parents, but you perhaps are going to write questions for teachers, and they'll have to be a little bit different. You know, are the children in your class constantly complaining of being bored? Or are you worried that this period of off school or this period of lockdown has left children forgetting the basics? Wouldn't it be great if when children came back to school, they knew how to read and write fluently? So perhaps your questions will differ if you've decided to write to teachers. Now, let's read through. Calling all parents who wish to give their children a great start in life. I'm underlining that part there because I think that is really persuasive. Or calling all parents who really care about their child's education. Calling all parents who are concerned that lockdown has meant their children have missed out on key learning. Then again, though, these children probably are too young to actually go to school at the moment. Are your little ones becoming bored of playing with their old worn-out teddy? Do you need some help to advance their education and prepare them for school? Wouldn't it be fantastic if they knew all of their letters and numbers before even stepping foot into the classroom? Well, if this sounds like you, we have a new interactive product that you'll be dying to get your hands on. And then tomorrow, I'm going to start writing about my features. And I might start by saying, Leo the lion has many wonderful features, etc. Although I think my product was a bear, so I better go back and check that. Really looking forward to seeing all of your fantastic work up on Seesaw later on to match those brilliant plans that I saw yesterday. Now remember, at the beginning of today's video, I talked about suitable features that would go into your plans. So if you need to tweak your plan before writing about the features tomorrow, please also do that. But today's paragraph is just the introduction to your persuasive advertisement. I look forward to reading your work and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, Year 6.